Hi everyone, I'm Kirsten Winkler of kirstenwinkler.com, and today again I got questions for David Schappell, the CEO of TeachStreet. So as you're a veteran to the program, however, welcome back, Dave.
Thanks for having me.
So yesterday, referring back to your tweet or one of your tweets, I read that Stella the dog is not happy at the moment, and we want to talk a little bit about the recent changes in the Google algorithm and their effects on companies like us in education, but also, of course, in various other markets. So why isn't Stella particularly happy at the moment?
Short answer is everybody heard about the Google search engine algorithm update that they're calling the farmer update. Looks like the goal of it was to reduce the prevalence of sites that have a lot of duplicate content. Mm-hmm. And, in the top 25 biggest hit sites, there were a lot of things like Mahalo, which is sort of a Q&A answer site, easy articles, mm-hmm. And so, we got included in that because we're a directory, so we're not a how-to site really, we're a directory site, and we think it's going to get corrected. We're actually sort of happy about it. But mm-hmm. Yes, mm-hmm. So we've had about a 44% drop in organic Google traffic versus before the change, and so it's important to us to get fixed. But like I've said, I'm actually really optimistic about it because most of the sites that are getting hit deserve to get hit. They make the internet worse, not better.
I think we are all against that. That the sites who simply duplicate content and are not really valuable or deliver value to customers get eliminated or at least reduced, let's say. However, you're a quality site, so at the moment it seems to be that Google now goes a little bit away, at least it seems to me, from a neutral position of being a search engine towards something like they want to evaluate quality of the site. So how can a machine algorithm do it, or do it on a, let's say, on a basis everybody is happy with it?
Well, just remember, it's not like they've stopped sending traffic. So for everybody who's unhappy, somebody's happy, mm-hmm. right? And we're only talking about this today. 2 weeks ago, nobody was talking about it. And so right. Really, they've always been making decisions about quality. Mm-hmm. And this is just a new opinion of quality that I'm betting, by and large, a lot of people are happy with. Like, I'm a happy Google customer, and mm-hmm. It's just a change in what they value. And so the computers have always been making those decisions, and that's why the computers are better at it than people-powered search like old Mahalo mm-hmm. V1, 2, 5, 12, and 14 were. So I'm not really complaining about it. I think it's a good thing that they're continuing to tweak the algorithms to get rid of the spammers, and that they'll get this figured out. Mm-hmm. I guess what I'm saying is it's not as shocking. It's not that upsetting. I think the route a lot of taken. I think the people that are complaining in the forums are mostly the ones that said, "Look, we've been trying to do the right thing for the last 3, 5, 10 years, and why are we getting hit now?" That it does feel unjust, but the truth is, it's all free traffic. And so, whether you're getting it from Google or Yahoo or Bing or whoever, a computer's deciding who the best is, and best is determined by some mixture of links and bounce rate and, maybe percentage of ads and percentage of unique content. And we all just have to focus on making it a good experience for customers and hope
right.
that Google's computers figure that out.
Do you think it's a little bit a homemade problem of them that they were relatively, let's say, reluctant to it in the past and now take a big step in a relatively short time so that maybe more people started complaining about it than would have done if it was like in consequent steps over a longer period of time?
No, I mean, there have been big Google changes every year or two, and every time there's a big Google change, some people who I'd say have quality sites get impacted, and they sort of adjust. I think, we had some things on our site that we have meant to fix, but just haven't been the high priority because there's 1,000 things to do all the time, and so
Right.
as a result of this, like we still had meta keywords on our site, for instance, on all of our site pages. We knew 2-3 years ago that people said that Google doesn't pay attention to them, and some people rumor that they could be a reflection of being an SEO spammy site. Well, when we had created them, we didn't know, so we just put keywords on all of our pages, but we didn't bother taking them off the page because it was another thing to do. So, we've made 10, 15 changes since this update to try to reflect the fact that that's not why they were there. They were just there because we never took them off the page. So I think I think Google. The answer to your question is Google's constantly, every day, making updates and changes, and it's important that they don't tell people exactly what the formula is, because the worst people are going to exploit that formula, and a lot of the sites that got hit the hardest, and I'm not including us in that, I'm talking about use Mahalo as an example, the sites that get hit the hardest, they've been doing the wrong thing for years. And so Jason suddenly wants to change his tune and say, hey, we're high quality now. I sure wish I had never done that before. Well, guess what, Jason? You did do it. And Mahalo, 99.9% of the content or that's on Mahalo is what makes the internet worse. And so guys like that want to try to change their tune right now, I think they're the ones that should worry. And I think that Google's goal, by and large, is, we'd all agree, the resulting work is pretty good for everybody.
I think so.
Actually, let me throw out one other thing too, just because I said we're down 44%. I think so. That's via versus 2 weeks ago. Versus October, so only 4 months ago, I think we're up 35% or something like that. So you sort of have to take, we had some big rises, and then, it's sort of almost like the stock market where you have these wild swings, whereas if you take the really long-term view, we're still up significantly from we had been relatively recently. I mean, we're talking about 130 days ago. So, by and large, I think this stuff will settle itself out.
Right. And I think, on the one hand, of course, many people would like to maybe have some guidelines, but for obvious reasons, I think we can all understand why Google doesn't disclose it, how they really measure and make the decisions.
But I think most people know what the guidelines are.
Yeah.
Have good content, get links from other sites because they think your content is good, and do, and that's it. I mean, that really is the gist of it. There are things to make your URLs better and your page titles better, and not. I think it's sort of like things you learned in kindergarten type of rule. Is kind of, that's the approach we take to a lot of SEO. We definitely do things like have Q&A and have article creation, and we do things to try to have good content and unique content, but at the end of the day, most of those things are trying to answer somebody's questions or provide a better class results or anything like that. And so I don't think it's that confusing. I think a lot of the sites get hit bad. You go, you look at them, and you and I would laugh and say, oh my God, that's a terrible website.
And say it's only a good thing that they got punished. Yeah.
Right. And so if 1,000 sites or 10,000 sites are fairly punished, we got to hope that we can submit all of those, and Google can look at them as more of a whole than on any one specific site and say, oh, we see maybe we punished directory sites a little bit too much. Maybe we punished video sites a little bit too much.
It'll
And
adjust, yeah.
right.
Yeah. Did you for yourself, I mean for TeachStreet.com, you mentioned the keywords maybe as one part of the problem Google didn't really appreciate. Did you find out some stuff already? What
No,
has been punished?
no, we don't actually think any changes we made
Mm-hmm.
were a reason for things. We actually,
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to bet a lot of money on something, I think it's because we are a directory site. So, for
Right.
instance, your class that you have on TeachStreet for
Mm-hmm.
teaching people French or German
Yeah.
probably exists on Udemy. You know, it might exist on 5 other teaching sites because you set classes up to test these platforms out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a problem with us because that's my point, is we are a directory site. So the content that you find on TeachStreet by definition should be found on other websites, and a lot of times teachers aren't going to rewrite that every time. They're going to copy and paste it. And so we think that the reason we probably got dinged is because of that. And so hopefully if we've done the right thing, Google will look at our site and say, oh, actually it's more than just that content. It's the fact that a visitor can compare all of the online French instructors in
Right.
one place, in one format, and that's actually a really useful service, and because of that, we get reconsidered. I don't think any of the changes we made, they're almost silly things. They're like, I'd be happy to go into detail, but they're like reducing footer links on the home page, removing keywords,
Mm-hmm.
changing some of the descriptions where we just know that we have 10,000 versions of a test prep class description that actually shouldn't have been all identical. We just didn't, we were, but we don't think any of that is really going to make the difference. We think the difference will be made by them determining that we're actually not a duplicative content website.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, Google, they don't leave us without any possibilities to get in touch with them. So what steps did you
Well, they
take?
do.
Yeah, what did you do to actually re-evaluate TeachStreet now in perspective of Google now?
Yes, so for your listeners, for you personally, know that there are several ways you can get in touch with Google. You should all be, using Google Webmaster Console, and via that, you can resubmit your website to be re-evaluated, reconsidered. It's actually something enabled by them. If you see other websites that are copying your content and scraping your content, you can submit them as spammers and report them to Google. So that's something that we found during this process the last few days. We're actually taking the time to do some searches and say, hey, wait a second, why does this website over here have all of our content? And we just never had bothered looking at that before. We just assumed that Google would find it, so you can report those types of things. Third, in Google's forums, help forums, they have created or opened up a thread where websites that feel like they were incorrectly penalized can submit themselves and report. And I just sent you the link, but when you go see it, all the websites that are reporting themselves have included a link. You click through, and they're a good website. And these are websites that, have lost 50, 60, 70% of traffic. And so Google they are a big faceless company in some ways, like you can't pick up a phone. But the truth is they are providing us ways to report to them and ask to be reconsidered. I don't think they manually fix any one website, but I think they will take groups of websites together and say, okay, yeah, we have a problem with directories. We have a problem with QA sites. There are QA sites and ones, right? And so, they'll keep working on it. They're smart.
Oh, yeah, sure, and make the algorithm smarter. And I mean, nobody can expect from the beginning that now something has been implemented as a new thing that it would work perfectly. So it's always
like you and I.
Yeah.
The other way to think about it is you very easily be having a conversation where I'm jumping up and down happy that we're getting 5 times as much traffic as this algorithm change, and we'd be declaring victory for those evil spammers, right?
Right.
And so hopefully we have that call in a month. Just today, we're not having that call today. Stella the French Bulldog is sick.
So as soon as the traffic will go up again, we will have another talk, and you will tell me when they will have fixed it, and yeah,
Well, we'll also tell you what we did if we did anything
right,
different. Like
absolutely.
I said,
This will be valuable.
So far,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the things we've done so far, I don't really. My hunch is none of those will spur a change. It's more we need to be reevaluated. I think not because I don't think any of it we did are egregious in any way.
Probably it's just about the re-evaluation and not really about making changes on your sites, as it's a quality site. So, but however, I think the results or the lessons we all can learn from that will be very interesting to share with our viewers.
Sure.
Great. So thank you so much, Dave, for taking the time for this quick call. And
great. Have a
great day.
weekend.
Yeah,
right,
have a great weekend too. Bye-bye.